Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love, a love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service.
Arise, O souls, arise.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Don Dickey, a member of this wonderful congregation, and I'm here to welcome you on what will be a nice, warm day. And we are glad that you are here in person and those of you who have joined us online. All of us extend a warm welcome to those who are new here. We hope that you have visited the welcome table in the lobby. Beyond that, know that many of us would enjoy talking with you after the service and answering your questions. Would members who are thrilled, I tell you, to talk to newcomers, please raise your hand. Now, those of you who are new, notice all those wonderful folks with their hands were just in the air. Now, your presence, each of you, enriches all of us and our time together. Bring your whole self, your truth of happiness and sadness and fear, your hopes, your worries, your curiosity, and the tenderness of your heart. Who you are right now is just who you need to be. Anthony, I believe we have a special guest musician today. Would you be kind enough to introduce her?
We do. My good friend Amari Lewis is joining us today.
Now, first-time visitors and visitors who have not shared a lunch with us, please be our guest for lunch today. You need only pick up a ticket at the welcome table in the lobby and to have lunch as our guest. We look forward to making your acquaintance and sharing conversation while breaking bread. We might bake some too, but not today. This morning, our remembrance candle is lit for Peggy Schrock, who passed away on May 14th. Peggy was an active and beloved member of All Souls. She is missed. Now, following lunch today, we will convene our annual meeting at 12:30 here in our sanctuary. So pick up your ballot from the tables in the lobby, and those attending online, follow the instructions that will be sent to you at noon. Now, anyone who is not a voting member, who is interested in learning more about All Souls, you are invited to attend the meeting as well, and we'll do that after lunch. And this happens to be a special occasion. We have a birthday to celebrate for Reverend Erin Holley. Now, if you have a sweet tooth, there is birthday cake for Reverend Erin. It will be down in Conover, and you can have it for dessert for your lunch, or if you're not eating lunch, you can come and have birthday cake anyway.
As it turns out, being a year older does not make me an inch taller. I am the Reverend Erin Dajka Holley, the lead minister here at All Souls. And our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Kimberly Tomczyk Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief of a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you begin seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship.
Here today, in this place, with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Please stand as you are able and join in the affirmation of our covenant and remain standing as long as we join together in song. Together we affirm, goodwill is the spirit of this church and service is its law. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our commitment to human fellowship means that we are called upon to be glad with those who rejoice and to weep with those who mourn. Thus, we set aside this time in our gathering to share with one another the joys and concerns which are now shaping our lives. May the beauty and sweetness of these brief flowers remind us to hold one another in the bonds of sympathy, encouragement, and care. In just a moment, I will invite anyone who would like to come forward to speak their own personal joy or concern. We are live streaming on YouTube right now, and that video will remain there in perpetuity. So if you are someone who would prepare to share when we are not live streaming, there will be a moment at the end that I will ask our wonderful tech people to turn off the cameras and the sound so that you can share to just the people in this room. If you need to adjust the microphone, please adjust it this way. I invite anyone who would like to come forward and share to please do so. And Brian is already here.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I just have concern again for our friends in Ukraine and in Palestine, and hope somehow we can find a way to stop the killing. And it's just scary to me. I have friends in Ukraine, and yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm Isaac. You probably know me from being up there with the choir, or maybe being back there being an octopus or something. But I don't know why I keep forgetting to announce this, but this fall I will be going to Columbia, Missouri to get a Bachelor's in Fine Arts and Musical Theater at the Conservatory at Stevens. I'm incredibly excited. I know some people there, and things are looking up. That's all I got.
I'm just here to talk about Peggy for a moment. Peggy Schrock, who passed away Tuesday after a lot of pain for 3.5 weeks. But my concern is that she's not going to be able to teach that wonderful art history class that everybody who took it raves about. I'm really sorry we won't still have that in her.
I'm Amy Robertson, and my husband Joe and I got to attend our oldest son's college graduation last Friday, the 10th. And, he was like, he actually was so disappointed that Mizzou's college protest, there wasn't an encampment for Gaza, that he was just kind of disgusted with up higher. He was like, I don't even know if I want to walk. And I was like, could you please could we discuss this, before you decide not to? And I gotta say, it was so lovely to get to share in that accomplishment with him because, as a parent, you don't have to do any of the work. You're just a supporter, but you know a lot about the work he did and the bumps along the way. So we are so happy.
I'm Jean Patterson, and I also have a joy about my grandson graduating from high school. It was kind of touch and go, but he's going to do it. a concern and a reminder. There are people who are undergoing mental health challenges here in our congregation that we don't even know about. Be nice to each other, check in with each other. It's necessary. Thank you.
I'm Jane Gilbreth, and you all know how much I love to brag about my family. So yesterday I had the pleasure of attending yet another kid's birthday party, which was the first birthday of my 7th great-grandson. Shall we hope that this is the last? I do.
I'm Carolyn McDonald, and as I was thinking about having an annual meeting coming up, I was remembering a time when we had a meeting and there was a lot of dissension, and we had to vote yes or no, but people said, but there's so many votes in between that. So we ended up having a long, long line, and at one end was the strongest yes person, and the other was the strongest no person. And I was at one of the ends, and Jean McCormick, a former member of the church who was very active, was at the other. And at the end of the meeting, Jean and I met and said, I think we need to know each other better. We're as far apart as we possibly could be on that. And what ended up is Jean became a very good friend of mine, and we got to know each other. So what I want to say, we have a meeting, an annual meeting coming up, and there are times when you don't agree with other people, but that doesn't mean that we're not still one church and we can all work together.
At this time, I will ask We'll turn the cameras back on, and I will place one final flower. For all of the stirrings in our hearts that remain unspoken, for truly, something is happening in the lives of everyone in this room. Something to celebrate, something that is a challenge, that there is sadness and grief. And all of that is holy, and we hold all of that together. Our responsive reading is by Carrie McDonald and Teresa Cooley. I will read the sections in regular type, and if you would please read the parts that are in italics. Love is hard. Love for people, especially those who are different from you. Love says that I see you as a person. Love says, let your unique light shine in the world, because each of our souls touches the divine mystery. Love says, we're on a journey together, and my fate is tied up with yours. Love that grabs you and won't let go until your whole life is dedicated to siding with love. Love that changes the world. Love is hard. Do it anyway. Let us sing our children out.
Good morning. I'm Bob Miller. I serve on the board as your treasurer. And this is the time when we pass the basket and reflect on the meaning of all souls in our lives as we gather here on Sunday morning to enjoy each other's company. We have a variety of ways we raise the funding needed to sustain this church and the many things we do together. Whether it's the Sunday morning offering, the forum collection, your annual or recurring pledge, various other fundraising events, they all add up to make real our mission as a church community and provide this place for us to gather. This year we've had an unusually high level of maintenance expenses, and we're continuing to recover from the COVID difficulties of recent years. So we have a special need to raise additional funding. I hope you're feeling generous today and can help us out. The offering will now be gratefully received.
draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one sings alone, voices side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one sings alone, voices side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one sings alone, voices side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one sings alone, voices side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one sings alone, voices side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle
Please join me in our offering dedication. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society.
Our reading this morning is from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a comedy science fiction novel by Douglas Adams, published in 1979. The following excerpt references the character Ford Prefect, who is an alien and has been stranded on Earth for 15 years.
Now, Ford had a device that looked rather like a largish electronic calculator. This had about 100 tiny flat press buttons and a screen about 4 inches square on which any one of 1 million pages could be summoned at a moment's notice. It looked insanely complicated. And this was one of the reasons why the snug plastic cover it fitted in had the words "Don't Panic" printed on it in large, friendly letters.
The other reason was that this device was, in fact, the most remarkable books ever to come out of the great publishing corporations of Ursa Minor, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The reason why it was published in the form of a micro sub-Meson electronic component is that if it were printed in normal book form, an interstellar hitchhiker would require several inconveniently large buildings to carry it around in.
Now, beneath that, in Ford Prefect's satchel were a few ballpoints, a notepad, and a largest bath towel from Marks and Spencer. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has a few things to say on the subject of towels. A towel, it says, is the most massively useful thing an interstellar hitchhiker can have.
Partly it has great practical value. You could wrap it around you for warmth as you bound across the cold moons of Jagelin Beta. You can lie on it in the brilliant marble-sanded beaches of Santrogenus 5, inhaling the heady sea vapors. You can sleep under it beneath the stars, which shine so redly on the desert world of Kakrafoon. Use it to sail a mini raft down the slow, heavy river moth. Wet it for use in hand-to-hand combat. Wrap it around your head to ward off noxious fumes, or to avoid the gaze of the ravenous bug bladder beast of trawl, which is a mind-bogglingly stupid animal. It assumes that if you can't see it, it can't see you. Daft as a brush, but very ravenous. You can wave your towel in emergencies as a distress signal. And of course, dry yourself off with it if it still seems to be clean enough.
More importantly, the towel has immense psychological value. For some reason, if a strag, and a strag is a non-hitchhiker, but if a strag discovers that a hitchhiker has his towel with him, he will automatically assume that he is also in possession of a toothbrush, washcloth, soap, tin of biscuits, flask, compass, map, ball of string, gnat spray, wet weather gear, spacesuit, etc., etc.
Furthermore, the strag will then happily lend the hitchhiker any of these or a dozen other items that the hitchhiker might accidentally have lost.
What the strag will think is that any man who can hitch the length and breadth of the galaxy, rough it, slum it, struggle against terrible odds, win through, and still know where his towel is clearly a man to be reckoned with.
of years ago, an interdimensional species created the most powerful computer ever, named Deep Thought. It had one task: to determine the answer to life, the universe, and everything. After running for 7.5 million years, Deep Thought said that it didn't think the operators would like its answer. They demanded it anyway. And the answer to life, the universe, and everything was 42. Now, apparently, I have spent most of my life in a bubble of other nerdy, geeky people because I have been surprised that not everyone recognizes this narrative from Douglas Adams's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I knew about 42 and Don't Panic and Always Know Where Your Towel Is long before I finally read the series of books in college. But now that all of you know about the significance of the number 42, you can understand that today, my 42nd birthday, is notable. For I am now the age of life, the universe, and everything. Or at least the answer to life, the universe, and everything. There is a difference, but you've got to read the books to find out. And how could I preach to you on my 42nd birthday and not talk about Douglas Adams's most popular work? We Unitarian Universalists find meaning wherever it is to be found, in whatever sources help us to make meaning. And why would that not include a work of science fiction from the late 1970s, written largely for comedic effect? Truly, there is depth, as Adams adds the voices of the philosophers and theologians who want so badly to prevent Deep Thought's answer. For truly, were we to have a useful answer to life, the universe, and everything, would it still be meaningful? With what would we wrestle into our full humanity? The mystery, the unknowing, makes space for us to live into meaning, to explore answers, and allow them to change, to improve ourselves through the wondering. I love this piece of Adams's work, that the answer isn't an answer at all. It has no relation to what we desperately seek, because the answer is the seeking in so many ways. As you heard in the reading, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has 2 words helpfully printed on its protective cover: don't panic. These are my words for you today. Don't panic. When it feels as though the world is falling apart, when hatred is spreading all around us, when we feel the threats upon our lives or the lives of those we love, when it feels as if much that we have worked so hard to create that has come to be comfortable, the change in the arc that we would have sworn was bending towards justice, with all of this, don't panic. Because panic isn't the answer. When we panic, our higher thinking shuts down. It's like we put on blinders, that we cannot see anything beyond our immediate experience. Panic feeds panic, and it's rooted in fear. Fear compounding so many times over and over that we are literally beside ourselves. Of course, our bodies do this as a way to try to protect us, because that immediate focus and the burst of energy from adrenaline to move, they have the ability to save our lives if we were about to become prey. But the limitations imposed by this reaction make it harder to engage in the real problem solving. We can't see the larger picture or the space where it is possible to change, to lead to improvement. There is only the immediate moment and the crippling fear. We cannot make our best decisions when we panic. So the important question, do you know where your towel is? Here's mine. But more importantly, do you know what your towel is? Because your towel has many different uses in many different contexts. You can always rely on your towel, and your towel helps you navigate what could be the difficult interactions with others. My towel is my values and my sense of self. My Unitarian, Universalist values of love and compassion and justice. My knowing that with my values, I can make good decisions that help me to be okay, that keep me in relationship with others, and that work toward a world in which all might thrive. Now, your towel doesn't have to be the same as mine. Really, I encourage you to take the time to find the towel that is just right for you. The kind of towel that feels familiar but isn't threadbare. A towel that expresses your sense of self. Find the towel that you trust to be reliable in the most dire of circumstances, such as encountering the ravenous bug bladder beast of trawl, or responding to someone who said something nasty in an email, on social media, or to your face. These are very similar forms of danger and fear. Because unlike those who travel the galaxy, the most threatening things we face when we need our towels the most aren't fights to the death or having to listen to Vogon poetry, the absolute worst in the galaxy, which can turn your brain to liquid. Usually, it's things that seem commonplace that make us feel afraid. The disagreements, those other bad drivers. Comments from people who don't think before they speak, family conflict, and the ever-inundating news and politics. These are the bug bladder beasts of trawl in our lives. The challenges that frighten us and require us to know where our towels are. So you can wrap yourself in its metaphorical snuggly right out of the dryer warmth. Take a deep breath and let its presence guide you. I'm going to mix metaphors and say that it's your North Star. And with it, you can do right for yourself and for those around you. There are some values that have come to the fore in Unitarian Universalism. And depending on what happens at the June General Assembly, these values may be codified in the Unitarian Universalist Association's bylaws as part of the covenant that holds Unitarian Universalist churches and Unitarian Universalists throughout the nation together. Love is at the center. From love stem justice, equity, transformation, plurality, interdependence, and generosity. Do these values resonate with you? Could you see them woven into your towel to guide and support you through all of the challenges of life? In my late 20s, I got to know a couple of my spouse's friends, my spouse Deal. And he had met them in college, and they became part of our larger social circle. And I thought that I had become close to them. But then I learned that they didn't want to have anything to do with me. They would avoid me as best they could and intentionally leave me out of gatherings. They even asked Neil to be in their wedding party, but didn't want to invite me. So he insisted that I be invited if he was going to be in the wedding party. And I went because I cared about these people who didn't care about me. And I bestowed blessings upon them in the receiving line. I worked hard on our shared Minecraft server to create a huge banner above their base building that said, "Just married," in pure wool blocks. And if you have played Minecraft, you know how much work that was. And months later, something shifted that led to our sitting down to having a conversation about what happened to lead to this situation. So I spent time beforehand with my towel, my values, and the importance of working on being in relationship. And this helped give me the strength to sit at our kitchen table and listen to them go through a written list of all of the things they didn't like about me. And I told them the ways in which their exclusion had hurt me, had brought back sad feelings of having been left out by my peers throughout my childhood. But I kept my towel, my values of love and compassion and the importance of staying in relationship with me that whole time. And when they left, kind things were said. But that was the last time I ever had a conversation with them. A decade later, it's still painful. And as I let go of that loss, I have my towel, my values, to remind me that I am a good, caring person. And I tell you this because this is what our towels are for. They're there to help us through the hard things, the difficult conversations, the conflicts and the fears. And I tell you about towels today because we have an annual meeting this afternoon to do the business of the church. And I am aware that some of you are feeling fearful for our future as a congregation. Some of those fears center on the budget, but I wonder whether there are more fears that you might hold. Fears that the congregation is majority retired people. Fears that we won't be able to welcome in new members or younger members or members with children. Fears that often remain unspoken. And that the ways that we are used to doing church aren't working the way they once did. The world has changed so quickly, and people's needs and interests have shifted. And here we are, we've made a commitment to building the beloved community through anti-racism and multicultural work. And all of these things might mean that who and how we are together as a community is going to change. And all of us appreciate the comfort of the familiar. And that's why change is hard. It's hard to fathom because we don't know what it will look like as we build it together. It is hard to hold this change in our hearts because we already love this congregation, this church, for everything that it is right now. It's natural to feel fear around this, even if you recognize what you're feeling is something else, or you want to think that change is all just fine. I'm going to tell you a secret. Fear rests within me as I contemplate all of the ways I need to change as a minister and as a leader and as a person in order to be with you through this time. So, I'm going to grab my towel. I'm going to check and double check that it's right here in my bag with me at all times. Because I'm going to have my values that are stalwart, that I trust, that are a part of me, and they will guide me through reimagining my ministry as all of us explore new ways to be a church together. So I'm going to ask you, bring your towels to the meeting this afternoon. Have your values carefully with you guiding you through the proceeding, because meetings can bring up strong emotions. And the context of a formal meeting sometimes causes us to forget that we care about one another just as we care for the church. That every person here is a person of worthiness, holy and whole, with needs and cares and emotions. Because we're going to make some hard decisions this afternoon together as a community. And we're going to keep with hard seekings and wonderings and definings into the next years as we come to better understand All Souls, our history, who we are now, and who we aspire to be. Just as our personal towels guide and support us, the agreements of our community, our mission, and our covenant will be our shared towels for who we are together. Because goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We are in this together. Whether it's a meeting, any of our programming, our conversations in the lobby before or after the service, being here in the service together, and when we go out into the world. Together, we know that we are not alone. Together, we seek to be our best selves. Together. Don't panic. We've got this. Together. May it be so. Please join in our closing hymn, The Fire of Commitment. we release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Have trust. Know that you are not alone as you wander through the wilds. Have trust. There is love in those who surround you. Have trust. You have within you a goodness and a true guide. And always hold fast to the great two words: don't panic.